Hello, my name is Nanny Burhuh, and today I'm going to read you a story. It's called The Coffee Shop. One day, Barry's staying with Paul at his flat. Paul asked Barry, "What do you fancy doing today?" Barry answered, "Do you know, I do feel a bit hungry today. Do you know a good place where you can get a bite to eat?" Paul answered, "Well, there's a new coffee shop that recently opened near me. We should check that place out." Barry agreed. So they decided to check out the coffee shop, and there they figured out what they wanted to eat and drink. Barry had an avocado, an egg on toast, and Paul had a full English breakfast. They both had tea with their food. To them, it was a lunch that was well deserved. While serving lunch, Barry had a thought on his mind. "I can't help thinking about that woman who told us to put our trousers back up at the park. I could have sworn that it was Mum following us." Paul agreed. "Yeah, it sounded awfully like her, especially what she said as well." They then looked at the picture that they posted on social media of when they went to the park, showing off their private feet. They were disappointed that it received many negative reactions. Then Barry had another thought. He was looking at the long table they were sitting on. He said to Paul, "I reckon this table is big enough for a little activity that I had in mind." Paul wondered, "What did you have in mind?" Barry smiled and said, "Let's play with each other's foot." Paul said, "Don't we need to play with both our feet?" Barry answered, "I'm talking about the private foot. Think about the picture that we took at the park." Paul knew what Barry was talking about, but then Barry had another idea. Barry said to Paul, "I think it's best if we take all our clothes off for this one. It's so bloody hot today." Paul agreed, and they both took their clothes off. They climbed on the table, and they sat facing each other. With their private feet, they started playing games with them. The barrister was looking at what the brothers were doing, and he seemed to be amused by it. "They seem to be having a good old time there," Bowser thought to himself. However, the fun didn't last long. An old woman walked into the coffee shop, and she noticed what the brothers were doing. She yelled to them, "Oi, you two! What on earth do you think you're doing? Get off the table at once and put your clothes back on. We do not want to see such filth in a place like this." Once fully clothed, Paul and Barry hurried out the shop. Barry said to Paul, "You know, this is the second time that this has happened to us. I do think Mom keeps on watching us, even though she's no longer around." The moral of the story is, there are many ways to have fun in public. Anything that may be rude should be kept private. But